Hey everybody, how are you doing today? Oh, I trust that you're doing all right. And I tell you what, I'm doing all right too. I'm certainly glad to be here with you. Yes, indeed. And I would definitely like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me this chance to come into your presence one more time. I really do appreciate it. And I certainly would like to welcome each and every one of you to another episode of TJ's Topics. And I tell you what, it certainly makes me feel good to be able to come into your presence on any given occasion. It is truly an honor and it's a privilege. And it's one that I definitely do not take for granted. It means the world to me that you take time out of your busy schedule to spend a few moments with me as I like to sit down and spend a few moments with you. And that means a whole lot to me. So I thank you for that. Now, today I do have a nice little interesting topic. It's one that I had considered, I guess, over the last day or so. Probably not too long, but I thought about it. And, you know, as an adult, it feels good to be able to be overall self-sufficient. In other words, it feels good to be able to take care of myself and to do things for myself, because there are a lot of people out here who are not able to take care of themselves for whatever reason. Some people, they have health issues, medical issues going on, and they're unable to look out for themselves, mental situations and things like that. And so therefore they're not able to feed themselves, clothe themselves, bathe themselves, handle their own affairs, pay their own bills and things. And so for us to have that ability, we ought to be very thankful. However, you got some lazy sapsuckers out here who simply do not want to do anything with their lives. They don't want to do anything for themselves. They don't want to get up and go to work. They don't want to have their own source of transportation, their own income. They don't want to cook for themselves, don't want to do their own laundry, don't want to clean up after themselves. And I tell you, they are an embarrassment, not only to themselves, but to the families. I guess especially their parents, because I'm sure that their parents didn't raise them to be that way, as mine didn't raise me to be that way. But somehow they fell off the wagon, got involved with the wrong crowd, got got out there and just, some of them are high school dropouts, dropped out of school. They never went back and got their diploma or their GED or anything. They never wanted to go to college or vocational school or anything to try to learn something, further their education, or get some kind of training whereby they might be able to get a job or develop a new career. Never wanted to have their own place. Never wanted to do anything with their lives. And what a shame that is. But I'm going to tell you something. There's nothing like having your own. Let me say that one more time. There's nothing like having your own. And that's my topic for today. And I'm very grateful to have my own. What I have may not be much to some people, but it's something to me. And it definitely means a lot. And I am tremendously grateful for it. And if we learn how to be grateful for the little bit that we have at this present moment, then it's only a matter of time before we can begin to see bigger and better things come our way. And rest assured that if you be faithful over that little bit that you have right now, in due season, you will receive bigger and better. I'm looking for bigger and better myself, and I know you are too. But there are some people out there who are simply not looking for anything but a handout. They want somebody to give them everything, and they don't want to get up and go out and get it for themselves. But now that reminds me of a couple of things. It reminds me of, number one, a sitcom that I used to watch back in the 90s on TV. It aired on Fox, called Rock. It was about this. It was a black family, and this bald head man. he I can't remember any of the characters' real names, but you can Google the show if you don't know what I'm talking about. And he had a beautiful wife, lovely lady, and then he had a brother, and he had his father, and they were right there in the house together. I think his brother, he lived like across town or something, but he always was over there at the house with him. But his daddy lived there with him. And I tell you, it was a good show, and I really hate they canceled it too. So that's one thing that this subject reminds me of. And the second thing it reminds me of is the theme song to the show. It all ties in together. The show itself, which is called Rock, and then the theme song to the show, which was a song by Billie Holiday called God Bless the Child. And it's a very good song. And I don't really know all of it because I've never heard all of it. I've only heard parts of it. And part of the song, it went sort of like, for the theme song of the show, it said, "Them that's got shall get, them that's not shall lose." So the Bible said, and it still is news. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. That's got his own. That's how the theme song went. and I'm not the best singer, by the way. I was a choir member for nearly 20 years until that played out. But and toward the end of that season, I became a lead vocalist. But nevertheless, it all ran out. So, but anyway, that was the theme song for the show. And I tell you, it was a very good show and a good theme song. But there was a lot of truth to it at the same time. Because it's something about when you have your own. I don't care what it is. It can be your own place, your own income, your own transportation, your own food to eat, your own clothes to wear. Because believe it or not, you got a lot of trifling jokers out here who really don't have a lot of clothes themselves. They don't even have the means to go buy their own clothes. Because if they did, they would. So they have to borrow clothes from folks. They got to wear other folks' clothes or depend on some hand-me-downs. Like people are passed down some stuff to them that they don't want to wear anymore because they've got new clothes. Probably have went out and bought a whole new wardrobe. And so these lazy jokers out here who simply don't want anything out of life will sit up and rely on maybe a family member or whoever to give them some clothes and maybe some shoes or, coat and hat, because they got to have stuff for the wintertime. I see children going to school in the wintertime who don't even have a decent coat to put on. They barely got a jacket to put on. Sometimes I see them, they're wearing these little hoodies. And it's cold outside. All they got on is a hoodie. Don't have a cap on their head, don't have scarves, don't have gloves or anything else. All they got on is a hoodie. And I just shake my head because it's really sad that we have the type of parents out here that we have who don't even take time to look out for their children's well-being enough to get them a decent coat to wear so they can stay warm in the wintertime. And you see parents who don't even take their children to the doctor like they should so that they can receive proper medical care. And now remind you, these same parents are on the system. You know, the government is taking care of them. And they get food stamps. And y'all remember the welfare program. Used to be a lot of these single mothers on welfare years ago. And they would keep on having all these babies and stuff so that they can keep on getting more welfare, more food stamps, because the government conditioned them to believe that they were better off without a husband. They didn't need a husband to help raise their children and to look out for them. All they needed was the government. And basically, the government became their husband and their children's father. And in some cases, the government became these single mothers' God, because these single mothers started worshiping the government as if they were God themselves, you know. And oh man, I tell you, it's a lot of stuff that I've seen over the years. They got WIC, you know, y'all remember the WIC program. They used to get WIC and had all that good food and stuff, drinks and all, you know, all kind of milk and juice and this stuff. Now, all that's supposed to be for the baby, you know, when they have the baby. But how many of y'all know that there were plenty of single mothers out here on this WIC? They were getting all this WIC food and stuff. They weren't just looking out for the child, the baby that they just had. They were also looking out for these men who were laid up in their house, you know, and they may have been the baby daddy, or it may have been another man who didn't father the child, you know, because see, a lot of times they'll get pregnant by one man and put the baby off on another because they feel like the man whom they got pregnant by wasn't any good. But guess what? The man that got staying with them may not be any good either. And though he's not the father of the child, but it's somebody that they like and they found attractive. And, you know, he may have a little something, you know, maybe he got a car and the man that they got pregnant by didn't have a car. Perhaps. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. But there is nothing like having your own. That's the point that I'm trying to drive home here. Nobody should want to spend all their life sitting up relying on somebody to take care of them, whether it be the government or their baby daddy, their boyfriend, or their baby mama. Because see, just like you got women out here laying up depending on their boyfriend or some joker, some dude, you got a lot of dudes out here laying up depending on their baby mama to see after them, bring home their paycheck and feed them, cook food, buy groceries, you know, let them drive their car all day long, you know, drop them off at work, you know, the baby mama, and then they keep the car so they can ride the streets all day. Now, why are they out there riding the street? They ought to be putting in job applications and stuff, trying to get a job and, you know, working on their resume. They can go to the library, work on their resume to send out in search of employment. You know, maybe taking a course or two in the daytime, you know, getting some kind of skill that they can apply towards employment, you know, to get a job and be able to provide for their baby mama and their child. But no, they're not doing that. They out here laid up with somebody else, you know, probably knocking her up and they smoking weed and slanging dope and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's crazy. But I'm going to say it one more time. There's nothing like having your own. I'm telling you. And mind you, these people don't have life insurance. So if something happens, they can't afford to be buried. Somebody got to put on a benefit program and put them in the ground because they don't have insurance. They don't have car insurance. They don't have a driver's license. They ain't got nothing. What do y'all think about folks like that? I mean, I don't see how people can live like that, but they do. Whole lot of folks out here. You may have somebody in your family like that. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. So I'm gonna leave it right there, and you feel free to chime in on this topic. And rest assured that there is nothing like having your own. And believe me, it sure feels good because what your parents have, that's theirs. They worked for it. So now it's up to us to try to work for what we want and obtain it the best way we can. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you'll join me again next time on another episode of TJ's Topics. And I certainly look forward to seeing you then. This is Taryn Jerome Harris, reminding you that every round goes higher and higher. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.